All right, we are live. What's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel. And you know what they say when life gives you lemons? Fuck the lemons. Let's have a goddamn conversation. Let's talk about literally whatever, man. No, this is not a pre recording of my podcast, whatever, but it's a way for me to get out there and have a bit of fun. So let me just go ahead and put this fine live stream out there on the internet so people can come and watch and get to know me on a personal level. Therefore, I can. So, yes, someone do we think? I mean, come on. All right. That out there now, and then also pimping it on the Discord. All right. So, okay. Apparently, I'm once again being accused of getting Donald Trump elected. That's a weird one, right? How is this for a thing? I'm a registered Democrat. I'm a left leaning individual who does not care much for our president, but at the same time, I am apparently one of the key reasons why Donald Trump was elected. According to some person on Twitter, Gamergate, Sad Puppies, and the Ghostbusters reboot backlash are all part of the continuum that leads to Trump in the White House and immigrant children in cages. So, yes, I guess you could say I'm one of the early people inside the Gamergate movement, and yes, I was one of the more vocal people that were anti Ghostbusters. But I didn't vote for Donald Trump, nor did I support him. So, why people keep trying to fucking lump me in with that shit? You're trying to put me in a cage. I don't want no one in cages. I don't want no one in that shit. So there's that. There's that. Oh. Hold on here. Gotta argue with somebody. There we go. Okay. All right. Where are we at right now? We are. No, let me bring up the right page here because apparently there we go. Okay. I know I had so much power. Apparently Tom Leach, I had so much goddamn power. The power to turn the tide of national discourse. The power to get a person with whom I'm not a fan of elected in the office. Apparently, if I have that kind of power, I wield it really, really, really bad. Right. So that's kind of just how things are at this particular point, I believe. But yeah, that's the world. That's the world we fucking live in, where I'm a person who simply talks about shit I find on the internet. I critique pop culture, and you know, there's that. You know, how much you want to bet though? How much you want to bet? Had Hillary Clinton got elected? Had Hillary Clinton legitimately got elected? People like Anita Sarkeesian would walk around saying, right, because she has a very Cockney British accent. Not even Cockney, but just a highfalutin British accent. Walk around and go, yes, quite, yes, quite. You know, when I was fighting the good fight back in the Gamergate days of 2014, I had known that we were going to have a woman president. I had known, fighting back against the Gamergaters, those misogynistic trolls who do nothing but salivate over the digital bodies of exploited females. Those people been around since 2012, I do recall. Back when I first encountered them, when I was simply a lowly feminist making small YouTube-based content, and not the dynamic feminist powerhouse you find me today. Yes, but the fall of 2016 was an epic and righteous battle, for we had fought back the trolls from the Ghostbusters reboot going on to secure the top spot in the United States box office. Never mind, top worldwide accolades and the best director nominee for Pulp Fight. We, the feminists of Warri, in virtue, you might call us social justice warriors, fought back the scourge of the MAGA trolls and the Pepe hordes for us to bring this woman to power. And now I sit here at the end of my days. Anita Sarkeesian in name, battle ready at heart. I'm going to a whole different fucking thing. I lost track where I was going with that one. But it seriously sounds. It seriously sounds like. But no, you could totally like put some like Winston Churchill shit, and that's what Anita would be saying. I didn't lose my mind, not yet. Not yet. No, I was just on with the drunken peasants, for what feels about like 2 hours, hanging out with them, having a good old time. Silent Tremor, you came in on me talking about what Anita Sarkeesian would be like if she was Winston Churchill and she had won. Hillary Clinton was president. That's what you walked in on. So there's that. So there's a complete going into that mindset. Do not stop the fight. Did the lemons give consent, Brandon? They're inanimate objects. It's like the intro of a D&D campaign. It kind of feels like it, doesn't it? Yeah, it feels like an intro to a D&D campaign. I don't do lots of voices. That was kind of funny though. I thought that was kind of good. What's going on, Shidoko? Magog, homie, buddy, sir, how are you? Did you want to come in? Did you want to come and chat? You don't have to if you don't want to. Wild Fox, yeah, hit me up. Let's set up. I got your Discord message. We'll definitely we could talk. No problem on that one. Let's see. Slowdens asking me the question here. Have you ever dealt with anxiety? Yeah, dude, I did. When I got fired from my theater job in LA, man, like I fucking didn't know what to do, right? I was like super just like fucking tripping balls. And I filed for unemployment. They tried to fight me on unemployment. And so then I had to like wait for like, I was only getting like $140 a week, which is not enough money to live in Los Angeles. And if you worked more than like 10 hours at like any kind of job, they would just like, like take the money away. And so I was really worried that I was going to lose my unemployment because the company I worked for was like super vindictive. And so every day going to the mailbox, I would have a panic attack. And I just kind of got through it, by just taking deep breaths and taking it one day at a time, man. I know that sounds like really just kind of stupid advice, like everyone's like, oh, yeah, just like life comes at you pretty hard, just take it one day at a time. That's all you can do is take it one day, 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second. Count to 10 and then just keep counting to 10. And eventually you're gonna get to the, everything is tolerable if you keep counting to 10 is what I learned watching the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt season 1. And that's what I'd recommend, man. So there's definitely that. Let's see here. God Satan says you got your wisdom tooth removed 12 hours ago and you feel fine. Is this normal? You thought it was supposed to hurt? Well, if you got your wisdom teeth removed, I am pretty positive you're on some serious painkillers, in which case, yes. Is James Gunn's career over? No, it's not. It's not. James Gunn's career will ultimately be fine. I can't tell you if he's going to end up getting back to the director's chair. A lot of people out there would disagree that that's the case. For Guardians 3, I don't know, man. I do not know, but let me just okay. We're gonna wait to see on that one. I have some theories about that. I have some theories about James Gunn. Here's the thing: the Dan Harmon thing. The Dan Harmon situation, I think, really opened the door for him coming back, but he won't come back until after the shareholders vote on the Fox merger. That's the whole thing here. Disney doesn't want to fuck anything up, man. They got 80 billion on the line. They got 80 billion on the line right now, so they don't want to mess with shit right now. They want to be calm. They want to be cool. They want to be collected and everything else. Let's see here. What's your take on strip clubs and pornography? Should they be illegal? And is it an issue most of the girls are raised by single moms? Well, Prince Nixon, I don't view strip clubs or pornography as being bad, provided that the people involved all are of legal age, and everything is consensual. So if a girl wants to put her way through college, or to fight back against raging daddy issues, and then she wants to become a stripper. When I was in my younger days, You know, it's I would have no problem slipping her $20 and spending 2.5 minutes with her. That was about the going cost, the going rate, as well as the length of the song, 2.5 minutes. Yeah, if you ever at a strip club and it goes by fast, it's because it is designed that way. That's why you wait for blue light specials. Buy one, get one. Helps get you a little bit extra time. Gets you a little bit extra time. So as for pornography, man, fucking who cares? Like, just, you know what? There's so much goddamn pornography in this world that it's not gonna, you know, it's never going to go away. Pornography is always going to be here. And if it's not, then you can easily find a way to make it up in your mind. You know, someone could draw it for you. You know, we're always getting, you know, or you can go find some cantaloupes, right? And you draw like a nipple on them and you put them together and you take like a cantaloupe. You get 3 cantaloupes. Okay, it's what I call the 3 cantaloupe deal. And you get 3 cantaloupes and you take 2 of them and you draw nipples on them. And then you take the 3rd one and you cut it in half. And the cantaloupe you cut in half, what's up, my God? The cantaloupe you cut in half essentially kind of looks like a vagina on the inside. I mean, it's like a vagina mixed with a sarlacc pit, but the seeds won't bite.
The fuck?
Hold on. I'm telling a story. So then you fuck the cantaloupe, right? But you want them to be ripe. So when you squeeze the titties, the other cantaloupes, then it's like it doesn't necessarily feel as, like, you know, as bad as non-ripe.
Do you warm them up first in the oven or something?
I don't know. I've never tried this theory. I'm literally making it up as I go.
Oh, okay.
It's like, someone's like, should porn be illegal? And I'm all like, well, no, but you can fuck just about whatever.
Right. I mean, what's up, buddy?
Not too much, man. It's been it's been a long goddamn day.
I noticed the name of your stream and I was wondering what's been going on.
Since, I like to pick random names.
Okay, so it's nothing.
No.
I mean, I literally just logged in, so the first thing I heard was like something about wisdom teeth, and then you went on to talk about James Gunn. So
no. It's people are just asking questions.
Right. I was just letting you know what I heard.
Oh, okay, no, it's fine. Yeah, no, I saw it's a line. The name of the stream is from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Paul Rudd, you know, is like the surf instructor, and he's all like, you know what they say, when life gives you lemons, fuck the lemons.
Mm-hmm. I like from the old there used to be these old, like, funny energy drink commercials on YouTube for like Brondo and shit like that, you know, like, and there was one where it was like, when God gives you lemons, find a new God. That's my favorite version of that one.
It makes some sense. And there's enough gods out there for people to choose.
Right.
You know, there's tons of gods. But to follow up with Prince Nixon's here statement, he says, I think it's an issue because most porn stars and prostitutes are raised by single mothers. Kids raised by single moms are more likely to develop mental health issues. I don't know. I don't have access to those studies.
That's up in the air for me because, like, the statistics say that children do better with 2-parent homes, a mother and a father. But it doesn't necessarily mean your life's just going to be fucked up just because you had one parent.
Yeah, like my mom.
I have plenty of friends who had divorced parents who barely ever saw their dads. And they're buddies of mine, and they're fine. They got jobs. They have wives of their own. They've got kids. They, you know, I mean, so it's kind of hard for me to think that I think people will do better with 2 parents, but it doesn't mean your life is fucking ended.
Yeah, think of it like Israel and Palestine. Okay, we're going to use the Gaza Strip as an example here.
That's what I call most women's vajays.
The Gaza Strip.
Yep.
So it's just like a barren war zone.
Yep. Maybe I'm meeting the wrong woman.
I really think you need to get out of Arkansas. And also, your family tree is starting to look like one clear log. Okay. So
yes. No, definitely. Most family trees in Arkansas are telephone poles.
So anyway, back to the Gaza Strip, or to the West Bank here. So essentially, like, you know, in reality, the best solution would be a 2-state solution, right? The mother and the father sharing the area in the raising duties of the child. right? What we have in what we have is a separation of two states, and therefore constant conflict and a lot of issues. I'm super simplifying the situation in Israel. 100%, it's for a joke. Deal with it.
Right.
And there you go. So if you want to have properly raised children, you're going to want to get both the Jews and the Muslims to come together and reside in fucking Jerusalem.
All I heard was, parenting is like the Gaza Strip, and your children are like terrorists.
Boy, aren't they? And isn't it?
You little fucking terrorist, get back here! Like, I'm now officially like, if I ever comes a day that I have children, that's probably what I'm gonna yell at my son. He's gonna do something fucked up in the house. You little fucking terrorist!
Exactly. And then it won't be that big of a deal for later on. Like when he's in therapy. My father dressed as a wizard and then called me a terrorist, and I'm pretty sure I saw him fucking Uncle Poe. It was a long goddamn shoot. It was a joke, you little bastard.
Yep.
So, so there's a question I saw in here. Someone said, would Bernie have won against Donald Trump if they would have gone to the general election together?
We've already talked about this, me and you.
You and I have.
Yeah.
So we don't have to get into it here. So that's this question.
No.
Because we got into a heated conversation. It was just
it's proof that even friends can disagree to yelling at each other.
It was so funny because he's like, hey, hang around for was I finishing up your stream or you on my stream?
I was on your stream.
Oh, right.
And you were like, hang around for a minute, man, and we ended it.
And we talked for a few minutes, and then like it just went into this like it was like at least like an hour, right? It was a while. It was
like an hour tirade about politics.
We were just going off. It's fucking funny. I was laughing. It was funny.
Yeah.
I have no ill will towards Magog here for his politics. They're wrong, but whatever, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I have nothing against the dirty commie lefty friend that I have.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh man. Let's see here. Hold on. Someone like the Dan Harmon thing still has legs. More's coming out. I see the picture he made of Barron Trump. He's not the one that made the picture of Barron Trump. That was actually Justin Roiland who made that picture of Barron Trump.
Wouldn't it be cool if you pulled a Marvel Comics and then like one day just came out with like a red skull instead of a blue one and was all like Hail Hydra?
I could make that happen. I could talk to my artist.
And then change your channel name to Commie Matt or something like that.
Be like, no. I was like, it would have to be something with soy. It would have to be something with soy. It'd just be all like, is it okay? Hold on. I heard a thing today, like I heard a thing today that where it's like Trump's going to give, and this is just a generalization. I'm not trying to go, whatever, but it's like Trump's going to give $12 billion to farmers, especially soy farmers. And I'm like, I heard that, and I'm all like, man, the left should be really fucking happy.
Yeah, they don't realize how important soy is, except for general use.
Yeah,
like soy is actually worthless, except for, I don't know if you know this about farming, but in order to actually like rotate crops, you have to do like different seasons, and like every other season, you have to plant some sort of bean, because that's the only plant that'll revitalize the nitrogen in soil.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, if you plant like 5 straight years of corn, by the 5th year, your corn's going to come in. It's going to be small. It's going to be degraded. It's going to be half dead. So
the North Korean model.
Yeah, no, farmers learned a long time ago to rotate the crops to keep a good solid crop coming in. One year you plant one field with whatever your main crop is, and your empty field, you plant beans, soy, peanuts, anything like that, because like they are literally the only plant in all of nature that actually puts nitrogen back into the soil.
So they're not really useless then.
No, they're useless once you fucking pick them and roll them over and plant a new crop. Then you're like, I got a bunch of beans. What do I do with them? And that's why soy is useless after that. Because there's no such thing as good soy, in my opinion. I've had soy burgers. I've had soy milk. I've tried it all. It's absolutely bonkers.
I saw a thing on Young Turks a while back, and they're talking about like eating crickets. Like that's actually going to be like this big thing because it's like very easily replenishable food source, and it's high in protein. And they're like you can go, and I think this is in LA too, you can go to like a cricket bar and get like Chipotle cricket barbecue cricket, you know, like all these different like spices and flavored crickets. And I'm like, you know what? That sounds terrible, but I'm kind of intrigued to try it.
I'm not. I mean, they do that in different countries. They eat actual insects and stuff on a stick. You know, like
Yeah.
chocolate covered fucking crickets and shit. And I just don't feel like we're necessarily need to be there culturally. Honestly, I mean,
I don't think
maybe in the post apocalyptic America where food is scarce.
yeah.
But right now, I just don't. I don't see a big market for eating insects. I just don't.
It's going to be a thing. Like, I mean, honestly, if I had money to invest, it would be legal weed and probably something along the lines of insect farming, because it's going to be big in parts of the world, you know?
I think it'll be big, but it won't be for food source. I think it'll be to revitalize the natural fucking pollination cycles.
Do you think we're going to like start cloning bees?
Oh yeah.
I think that's going to be a thing.
The problem is, like, we're not even like really killing bees. Like, scientists can't fucking explain why the bees come and go like they do. Like 5 years, we'll have like the degradation of the bee, you know, the bee population, and everybody gets worried that plants won't get pollinized. And then the 6th year will roll around, and there'll be more bees than there's ever been. And then it'll do it again, and we can't understand what that is. What is it? Us? Is it just nature? Like, what? Why is this happening? Like, we can't explain why the bees just come and go as they fucking please.
Maybe, I don't know, interdimensional travel or something.
Yeah, maybe bees are actually like sentient life forms from a different planet. I don't know. Maybe they're here to spy on us for the aliens.
I've heard that that argument made for Bigfoot before, where it's like Bigfoot, like cryptids, right? They were like the creatures from another dimension, and they kind of like work their way through like a wormhole or something, and that's how they get here. And now obviously there's like no evidence for anything like that, but I thought it was an interesting theory, because I'm like, okay, that would explain why they're able to kind of come and go as they do. They're like tardigrades, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like tardigrades, they say could actually withstand the type of shit.
The fuckers survive in space. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like they could survive like the like warp wormholes and
yeah, some of the harshest fucking environments that we know of, they've been able to survive according to tests and stuff. They've taken tardigrades up into the fucking up into space and just was like, put them in the vacuum. Like, let's see if these little bastards will die.
I just want to say we got a five I think it's a 5-year super chat from Henry Dorset. It's 8 a.m. and I'm at work. Thanks, you time spoiled mofos. Well, sir, I'm sorry that you're at work. I appreciate your money.
I don't sleep.
And you know, you can sleep when you're dead.
Yeah, dude, I went to bed tonight like after I did Drunken Peasants, and then I like went and grabbed dinner and watched a movie, you know, a free movie on Amazon. Didn't feel like buying or renting anything, and I literally crashed out at like 11:30. Woke up like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, that happened to me last night, man.
It's a weird sleep schedule, dude. I'll sleep for like an hour, maybe 2, and then I'll be up again, and then I'll get tired and I'll sleep for 3 hours, and then I'll be up again.
That happened to me last night. I was like, I went to bed about 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday night, and usually I sleep to around like 9 when my daughter wakes me up. But my girlfriend comes in like at 6, and she's like, I got to go to work, and the baby won't go to sleep. So can you sit with her? I'm like, yeah, all right, fine. And then like I thought I could go back to bed. I could not go back to bed. So I got up, and then yesterday about 7 o'clock rolls around. I'm just like, man, I need to take a nap. You know, I have to take a nap for like an hour. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
I passed out at 7 o'clock. I woke up at 1.
Maybe it's different. Like, I mean, outside of having a kid, like you have an excuse at least, but like before you had a kid, how did you get used to working for yourself, working for basically just being a YouTuber, not having another job? Like, how did you get used to that? Like, this is all still kind of new to me that I don't actually have to get up and go to work tomorrow, go to school, go to do anything. I literally like am waking up every day and kind of doing whatever I need to do to make money, which is just videos. But outside of making videos and stuff, I'm fucking just stuck here. Like, I don't. So without the need, without being forced to wake up and go and clock in at a job or go to class, I've just lost all semblance of a normal sleep cycle.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, it's like I had a girlfriend, so it's kind of like, you know, there's like that. She worked during the day, so I would have until about usually 5:30 until she got home. So she would leave at like, you know, 7 in the morning or whatever, and then So she'd be gone from like 7 to like 5 roughly.
Right.
And so then I'd like, okay, cool. So I wake up around like, sleep till like fucking 11 and
Right.
whatever I want, I get up, I fucking hang out, make some food, play some video games for a little bit. I go, okay, I got to do 3 videos. That's, back when I was only running one channel, but it was making enough to sustain.
Right.
All right, let's talk about whatever fuck's going on and talk about that. Pop them up there. 2016 was a good. 2015 and 2016 were good years. And so I was like, all right, did that. And then she'd come home and we'd hang out for a little bit and like go to the gym or some shit. And then she's like, okay, we're around like 9 or 10. Like she's got here to go to bed. And like, all right, well, I'm still awake. So I didn't have a car for the first year I lived in Portland. So
Right.
I would just like play video games because I didn't really go anywhere.
You became a recluse.
I feel like a recluse now. Except before I was living in an apartment in the city. Now I'm living in a house in the woods. So
Which
like,
is where I'm gonna be in a few months.
yeah, you'll be living out there and shit. And I'm just like, God damn, I don't, like, all right, fine. So it's I think you got to just like the hardest part is setting the schedule, man. If you don't have a schedule set, like anything to kind of tie you together, then you're kind of like in the void. But the thing with that is though, is it works in certain ways. And now here's how you could play to your advantage. Like let's say, for example, something like someone drops a controversial video at 2 in the fucking morning, right?
Right.
You could theoretically like be awake and just go like, you know what? I'm gonna respond to that. Quickly throw on your makeup, quickly jot out a script, fucking throw the thing together, and then you're done before you go to bed. And you're like, I hit that shit before everyone else hit that shit.
Fuck yeah.
There were times before I started showing my face. I'm not even kidding you. I would be laying like this is back in like late 2014, early 2015, right? So I'd be like laying in bed. And I'm like, I'd be like literally getting ready to go to bed, and then somebody would like break a story or something, right? And everyone's talking about it on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I'd be on my phone. I would just pull my covers over my head, and I would record my audio into the phone like I usually did, but I would just do it underneath the covers, so then the sound would be better. And then I'm all like, hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Mundane Matt. Today we're talking about blah, 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 right, whatever. And I'm just on my phone underneath the covers. And then I'd finish it up and I'd still be in bed, and then go and do all the editing and I'd do the uploading and I do all the tags and shit from the phone and hit go and hit monetize. And then I'd go to bed.
Wow.
And never had to get the fuck up. Never had to get the fuck up.
My, how times have changed.
Yeah, I know. I know. Now I'm like, I got to get up. I got to get a shower. I got to shave. I got to fucking let my hair dry. I got to put some product in my hair. I got to make sure my lighting's working. I got to make sure my camera's focused. I got to make sure my audio's good. I got to make sure my daughter's looked after. I got to make like all this shit. And I'm all like, God damn it. God fucking damn it.
Yeah,
I've got
to do all kinds of shit, dude.
Actually, I will say this though. I will say this. Thank you very much, Underhaven, for the Streamlabs pimp. What I've been doing lately, and this is actually like I think working out really well, is I've cut about an hour and a half out of my schedule, right? So what I do is I get the stories I want to cover, and then I start a live stream through OBS, but I just have it be private.
Yeah.
And then I do the live stream, and then before I close out the live stream, I go back through, because you can do this when you run a video through OBS or do a live stream through like your general live stream window, whatever the fuck it is. You can create a highlight. So I just go and I set a marker for myself. I go back, I find the marker, I clip my endpoint, which is not always perfect. I clip my endpoint, which usually is pretty good. And then I just give it a title and I fucking hit upload right there. Go to the next video, do the same thing. Third video, do that. Bam, end out my stream. Right. So then, because I'm broadcasting in 1080p, the video gets uploaded in 1080p. And then I'm like, cool. Then all I have to do is do the thumbnail, the titles, the tags, and the description, and not throw it in my editor and then do the export and then do the upload. It cuts out so much fucking time, which is nice. There's some limitations to it, obviously, but it for the most part, it works out pretty damn well. So
we had a question in the chat. Shidoku says, what do you think of the term cisgender? Been seeing it a lot on Twitter.
Cisgender has been around for a while, sir.
Yeah, that's an old buzzword. But that leads me into something new. Did you see that article about like how like millennial parents are now calling their babies babies because they don't want it to be like gendered? So
Uh,
they're taking the word they.
oh, I'm gonna so fuck with my girlfriend on that one.
Yep. So like now they're all like, we have a they be because it hasn't decided its gender yet. And I'm like, wait a minute, the word baby isn't even a gendered word anyway.
I know, I know. Why are they call it? Why are they calling it they? They might as well just call it Zaby. You know, like if they're just gonna go like or Zerby, it's just gonna be a really weird offshoot of a fucking a Furby and shit. I don't know,
Right.
man. People, the thing is, anything to feel special, right?
Yep.
Anything to feel like you're a unique little snowflake. And the thing is, you are. Everyone's different. Everyone's unique. No one fucking cares, right? Oh, hold on here. Hold. This is interesting.
Oh, I just triggered your fucking chat. Look at him. Look at him go.
Tay Zondaby.
Boy, I do not want to know what Nigbies are. Just
That's
leave that one alone.
we're gonna do that. Oh, this is kind of funny. So we have a real fine supreme gentleman in the chat here by the name of Tappy Toes, who makes a comment saying he would pay me $100 if I admit that James Gunn is a pedophile. Well, you can save your money, sir, because the shoe don't fit. Evidence doesn't back any of that shit up. Now, this has nothing to do with Disney hiring him back. That's entirely a whole other discussion. But in regards to the claims of that, you've got no fucking evidence. And what
I didn't see the original tweets that got him in trouble.
Okay, they're really like it's edgy shit. It's edgy shit. Like it's,
like did he actually come out and be like, I like to fuck babies?
No. He said,
or, I'm sorry, I like to fuck babies.
No, not at all. It was more like the one of them was like the Expendables was so like manly that I fucked this pussy boy next to me or something. It was edgy, dumb humor. What you have to understand about Twitter, and you're a comedian, so you'll definitely understand this, is in the days of like 2007 to like 2012 roughly. That was a big time for comedians coming into the fold, not all at once, but over time. And people were really kind of testing out these jokes, you know? And the jokes weren't like they weren't funny. I have so many that are just like super bad, right? And some that have been thrown in my face before. And I'm like, look, I said it. All I can say is those are dumb. And I was, that was it. Like that's all I can really say, but people want you to be like this, repent.
So he's guilty of being a bad comedian a decade ago.
He's guilty of being a provocatory, a little edgelord. And one of the things though, this is what I love. And this is something like I have a feeling like Tappy Toes here would probably like completely like just spurg out over, which would be this tweet where it said video 100 pubescent girls touching themselves, and then it had a link. Now, when this thing broke, people flocked to that tweet. They were like, "This is the gold standard of proof that James Gunn is a kitty diddler." 100% proof because of what it says. Now you go to the blog post, which has been scrubbed, right? And the little description says that his friend, who was actually convicted just a few months ago of possessing child pornography, which did not look good for Gunn, but his friend had sent him this video, posted it to him on his Facebook wall, and he made a comment about ejaculating all over it, kind of thing. So people, again, 100% irrefutable evidence that this means he's a pedophile. So somebody found the archive of the page, went into the metadata, discovered that it was in fact a YouTube video of an all-girls choir singing "Touch Myself."
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So he put a porn title on a song. Right? That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's nothing. This is a guy who created PG porn, like as again, back in the day of doing the web series and shit, like the PG porn with Nathan Fillion, where it was all the porn setups without the porn. Actually, really funny. He'd get an actual actor, and then he would get an actual porn star, and they would do a scene together. where it was like really building up to what the porn would be. Like the very first one was called Nailin' the Boss's Wife, and it's Nathan Fillion, and I forget the name of the porn star, and he's like doing like construction work, you know, and so it has all the same corny, cheesy dialogue you would expect, and then it's just it ends with him accidentally shooting the boss's wife in the head with a nail gun as she's gonna go suck his dick. Like that's it. Like that's like it's like a minute long or some shit like that. So quick, but that was the whole point. Is he does this kind of edgy humor back in the day, and so you know, essentially that's where we are. And people took this as being like, oh, 100% evidence that he's doing all this negative shit, doing this terrible shit. And it's like there's been no accusations that have been made. No one's come forward to even remotely suggest that he did anything. If there had even been a whiff of actual impropriety, given where we are currently with the climate in Hollywood and Me Too and all that, they would have ostracized him in a heartbeat. They would have thrown him to the wolves and not even cared. But instead, his entire cast has come out to defend him. His friends have come out to defend him. And you've got like the media, the movie journalists, they're coming out to defend him. And everyone is rallying around him in a way that, like I've said before, I honestly feel that Disney will probably have no choice but to find some way to at least include him in the movie, even if he doesn't direct it, like to use his script and make him an exec producer or something as maybe like a middle ground. Right? Like
I don't even care about any of that unless there's actual evidence. Nobody should be fired over a tweet.
Exactly, but there's no evidence. That's
but
the whole.
At the same time, I don't really feel bad for him because he's also one of these motherfuckers that got on there and basically was totally okay with other people being fired for tweets. So, you know, what comes around goes around. That's all I'm saying. That life is full of those little karma moments.
And I get it. I get it.
I can stand by my principle of nobody should be fired over a fucking tweet because I don't believe Twitter should have that much power over our lives. But that goes for anybody, no matter what political side you are. That being said, though, I don't have to like James Gunn. I don't have to fucking feel sorry for him because I don't. So I'm kind of one of those that's on the fence because people are like, how could you defend, like, how could you be against him being fired, but then also, like, you know, not like him? And I'm like, do I have to like him?
Well, yeah, you know, it's kind of like it's like people have been coming to me and they've been going like, what about Roseanne? Did you defend Roseanne? I'm all like, I actually have a video saying that the left lost a teachable moment with Roseanne.
Yeah,
and I go through like how this could have been integrated into the show as a moral lesson that would have, I think, had a better resonance with our society. So yeah, I defended her, whatever. But the thing is, people never want to think that. They just want to think, oh, you just defended him because you want to be part of pedo wood, don't you, Matt? Like, no, not at all. Obviously, I mean, like, it's just there's so many dumb fucking things.
Yeah, and you know what? I am naturally a cynical person. I don't necessarily believe every tweet I see. You know, like I saw a tweet on Twitter that supposedly James Gunn said something, and it turned out to be photoshopped.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like when somebody's all like, I got the proof right here, and they'll share a tweet with me. I'm like, this is just a picture. You can literally see where the pixels had been edited because I'm a person who uses Photoshop. I can tell when something's photoshopped unless it's done by like a Hollywood professional, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can actually bring an image like that into Photoshop and play with some settings and see where the pixels were cut and pasted over.
Oh,
you know? Yeah, it's very fucking easy.
I think
so. It's like
when you're on Twitter, because you can just do right click inspect element and then change the fucking text yourself and then screenshot it.
Right. And then the screenshot is just an image. And if it's not a Photoshop, it's something like that. So it's unless it's like actually like metadata proof, like an actual archive or something, I find it very hard to believe. Now, if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, this is an actual archive of James Gunn back in the day talking about how he's a pedophile or something, I'll be like, okay, we can examine that. But I'm trying to be a reasonable fucking human being and not lose my shit over every little thing I see on the fucking internet.
Yeah. What really kind of cracks me up though about all this is that you've got like the moral crusaders of the right. And we got past those people back in the 70s and 80s. Remember the moral crusade against Dungeons and Dragons, the moral crusade against hard, heavy metal, like when it comes to a moral crusade against art and expression, the fucking right is there. When it comes to a moral crusade about speech, the left is there. Both sides are dicks. Both sides are fucking dicks in this case.
Yeah, sure, but you gotta understand too, it's a little different these days because back when all that stuff happened, and I understand your point, I'm not disagreeing with you. Both sides can be big time dicks. But these days with social media, it's so easy for people to go on a fucking witch hunt over a tweet.
Yeah, I know. No, I know.
And it's a tweet. Why does this fucking platform have so much power over our lives?
The thing is, like, I looked into it and like, I had heard that only like 10 million Americans use Twitter, but apparently it's like 69 million, which is actually a lot larger than I thought. But they're also not growing. They're also down over 64 million accounts, right? And they were at their peak at 400 million monthly users. Now they're down to 334 million. So people are leaving Twitter. They're just, and I think with where we are right now, we're going to end up seeing a lot of people leave. I changed my Twitter profile today back to my avatar and I put Mundane Matt up there. Like I'm going to start scaling back on Twitter, treating it as more like this is what's going on with the shit. If you want to catch up, I'll maybe answer a couple questions, but I'm not going to engage as much on there anymore. Yeah. I'm pretty much done with it. This last couple of days, it's like people are looking for any little thing. And like I said, I'm not perfect. I've had tons of dumb shit like thrown back in my face. I made a couple, I was trying to be edgy when I first started being Mundane Matt, and I've been open about this.
Nick is in the chat.
What's Nick saying?
And he's like, people are leaving Twitter. We're just not hearing about it because they're not tweeting about it.
Jesus fucking. He's
yes, by the way, I am paying attention to the chat. It's just I'm trying to catch something that we can segue into, but there just seems to be a lot of like random talk about Israel. And because I noticed somebody in the chat was like, they're not looking at the chat anymore. They're just talking to themselves.
I'm reading the chat.
I'm watching the chat. I'm just not. I'm choosing not to. I'm choosing not to answer certain things because I don't want this to turn into some
my fault for bringing up Israel. It was a joke,
right?
sorry. We're in the phrase because we've gone back to the gas the jokes thing. Remember? Do you remember that hashtag gas the jokes?
Yeah.
Like, that was a Sargon thing. I think that was like crazy as fuck.
I thought it originated with Dankula.
Was it Dankula? I don't know.
I don't know.
There's so much of this fucking.
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay, so have you heard what's going on with Boogie 2988? Have you heard about that today? Did you see that video?
I saw a video of him coming home after 4 hours, and his dog was excited.
Well, that's always sweet.
Okay,
Sammy's a cute dog. No. So Boogie's been, like went through a divorce.
Yeah, I knew that.
All right, so he ended up picking up a bit of a thought. He had a thought. For a while, he had a girl on the side.
Okay, yeah.
And she apparently, like, he referred to her as his hooker, and many people ran with this, and they were like, Boogie's got a hooker, and like then there was like, oh, he dated a porn star. That was one of the things I heard too, and I'm just all like, dated a porn star.
Yeah, he's banging some girls.
I guess he did, but she did a bit of a tell-all video today.
Oh dear.
And she didn't name him by name, but somebody put it together, and she calls him, like, she says, oh, he's a big YouTuber. And I'm going to call him asshole. Right. And so she was not happy. So apparently she met him on a website. She's a cam model. She's a cam whore.
Okay.
So I'm like, because at first I'm like porn star, and then like, oh, cam whoring. Yeah, no, that counts. It's trading sexual acts for money. I get it. And so there's that. And then she talked about like their relationship and how like he kept wanting her, like he kept kind of manipulating her to like stay over at his place and to not go back home. And then like she wasn't working, so she wasn't going on cam, and that's her full-time job. And she would say, hey, I need to give like money to like what is it? Like, I need money to keep my bank account going. And so he'd give her like $20 to keep her bank account from going overdraft or something like that. And then like, he just really emotionally manipulative is basically what she kind of rolled it down to. And I don't quite know, like, I know like Boogie responded in an interview with Keemstar of all fucking people.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that video yet. I try not to watch Keemstar if I can fucking help it. So I don't know what he said on there. But like I watched it and like I kind of like I get where she's coming from, and I think she's probably telling more truth than he is, like, or at least more truth in this regard. And I say that because when Boogie, he had his wife, and I met his wife last year at VidCon, very nice. And then he got the gastric bypass, and then after that, things kind of fell apart. And and then ever since then, like, you watch his live streams and he just like goes fucking crazy on his live streams. It gets pretty graphic.
Right.
So it's
well, he's always been kind of
an
emotional guy. I see tweets all the time about him having a breakdown, and then the next day he'll be like, "Sorry about yesterday, folks." And I met Boogie at VidCon, and he seemed like a nice guy the whole 5 seconds that I met him, and everything. So I don't know him personally, so I can't judge either or. I can't take sides on this. I'm sorry he's going through some drama. He lives right here in Arkansas with me. He's one of the only Arkansas YouTubers. Yeah, so I don't besides Rum Mug the Orc, I know he's in Arkansas too, but I don't know, man. I don't know what to deal with that. I mean, that sounds like a lot of YouTube drama instead of like world news and important things in my life right now.
True.
And I appreciate talking about things and stuff, but I hate giving opinions on stuff I don't know much about. So I'm not going to take sides. I'm not going to be like, well, that whore is just trying to get money out of Boogie. And at the same time, I'm not going to turn around and be like, Boogie's a piece of shit. And, hashtag.
You'll never make it big on YouTube, Magog.
Apparently
there's no room for people who refuse to create comprehensive opinions of people they've met for a total of 5 seconds here anymore.
Exactly.
Like maybe I shouldn't come on to your streams anymore, because if we end up talking about the shit I don't know about, I'm just gonna be like the silent guy on stream.
I saw that.
That was funny. Funny.
I did see the video, and the one thing I'm thinking, like, it doesn't sound far-fetched, but the other thing I was thinking of, I'm like, a guy with admitted emotional issues is in the midst of a divorce, trying to date cam models he meets on websites. That's kind of a recipe for disaster, no matter how you cut it.
Oh yeah, that's a disaster gumbalaya right there.
Yeah, it's
that is disaster gumbo.
There's
sorry, I'm pouring a drink, so I probably sound far away.
No, there's definitely a lot going on there with that stuff. I mean, I don't know much. People sent me the video today and they were like, are you going to do a video about it? I'm like, no, I don't really cover a lot of this interpersonal shit. I'll watch the video, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and like be,
this is also the type of shit right here that like ends people's careers on the internet. Like, people spend years building up a channel and get like millions of subscribers, and then something like this happens and it just utterly destroys their reputation.
I mean, I think for one thing though, it's something that doesn't go addressed enough though, is it's a sad fucking commentary on exactly what it is we're in and what we're doing. Like, this is the kind of shit people go for. They can't get it. I mean, it doesn't matter who they are, it seems. People just can't get enough of people shit talking each other, of people getting wrecked and destroyed, of having like their fucking every ounce of their lives just trotted out to be like pointed to and laughed at. And it's like, you can't even really hold any individual accountable for it, because it just seems to be this really ugly side of human nature that comes out so richly on the internet.
Yeah, but that's also why I try to just stay out of trouble and do my thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, the shitty thing is you do get to a point where people start trying to manufacture as much as they possibly can. You say the wrong thing in a tweet, you make the wrong joke, you whatever, and they're just like, they come after you hardcore. So
it's well, it's funny. It almost makes me wonder if maybe like the future of YouTube isn't actually like you take one part drama stream, you take one part like the thing Magog and Beardy are doing, and you just start producing independent telenovelas for YouTube audiences.
Yeah. There you go. Now, like people like me and Beardy are just trying something new. We're not getting into any of that kind of stuff. We want to do an actual production and actual entertainment,
You're making shows.
Right. Huh. And that way we're kind of just in many ways just trying to be a little bit more like an independent filmmakers or something, like I really feel like independent media is gonna kind of prove that you don't need Hollywood to back you. You don't need some production company.
That was actually a thing when I first moved to LA. That was kind of like this. This is in 2010. That was the exact mindset, right? Like everyone is investing money in these Canon 5Ds and these Canon 7Ds because they had just come out and they could shoot 1080p footage and they looked fantastic. And everyone they all wanted to do web series, right? That was a big fucking thing for a long goddamn time.
Oh, yeah.
And you go on Craigslist looking for jobs because that's what you did. I think that's what you still do. And then it's like, I'm shooting this web series. It's about a doctor. It's a doctor show.
Did that came after the whole cliche of everyone in LA having a podcast, right?
That was around. Yeah, I think that was what kind of went after that. Like,
I think it was a mixture, to be honest with you. When I first started actually watching YouTube on a regular basis and not just looking up music videos or whatever, it was like on one hand you had people like Angry Video Game Nerd, Nostalgia Critics, Cinema Snob that I was watching on a regular basis because their productions were great. They were fantastic. They were like little mini series, but also movie reviews at the same time. But then you turn around and you had your Gamergate, your vloggers, your little guys hiding behind an avatar just talking about politics and social issues. I believe it kind of all came together the moment YouTube offered monetization. People just wanted in on that gimmick there, man.
It wasn't so much that they offered monetization, it's that they offered it to everybody.
Well, also it was the other side. The other side of that too is like I call it the new American dream, because American dream used to be plot of land and raise your family, and then it graduated to work hard and provide a better life for your children, and then it just kept morphing and evolving to where now it's like become a pop star and get have a sex tape,
right?
And but I remember like when I first started traveling, like when I first started bussing it around, I remember being in like lower Manhattan, and this would have been like 2010, right? So it wasn't really super big, but it was starting to really heat up. And they had YouTube had big ass billboards in lower Manhattan featuring, I don't even remember who the fuck it was, but they're like, broadcast yourself. And I was like, why the fuck is YouTube pulling out billboards? And then I looked, I'm like, holy shit, these people are rich and famous from this shit.
Mm-hmm. It really did change once monetization became a thing for everybody. But at the same time, I think, since YouTube became a platform of just uploading any video you want and anybody could have a channel, they took reality TV from MTV and just made it worldwide on the internet because anybody could do anything.
Yeah. I call it the dream of cable access realized.
Yeah, it's it's a double-edged sword too. It has its ups and downs. We just got done talking about one with the shit Boogie goes through and is going through and everything.
Another one, I've mentioned this in a couple of videos and a few streams, but I do find it fascinating, and I think another trade-off element to this democratization of media. I've mentioned this before. I think Matt's seen it, but Magog, have you ever seen Side by Side? Documentary. It was on Netflix for a while. Keanu Reeves produced it, and it was really just focusing on the switch from conventional film stock to digital photography.
I heard about it. I just never watched it.
Really?
Now that you're describing it, I definitely heard about it.
Yeah, really good documentary, and like they went over all the technical evolution and everything like that. But one of the final points, it was a mixed bag, double-edged sword, according to a lot of the directors. Some loved it, some hated it, and I think it was Scorsese who was saying something to the effect of, now that anyone can be a filmmaker and anyone can make a film. It's a good thing because the artist who might have never gotten that shot with a Hollywood studio can actually produce their masterwork, their brilliant indie film. The problem comes because everyone can do it. You have to wade through like oceans of shit to find it.
An oversaturated market. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it used to be like when I started independent films at 19, and Matt might be able to appreciate this because if I remember right, Matt even did a little independent film a long time ago in a galaxy far away.
Yeah.
But our dream when I was 19 and had a $5,000 camera and a script and tried to get actors and a project launched, our only dream was to get into like a film festival. That was the only thing you could do. There was no YouTube.
Yeah, well, that was the thing.
I'm producing more content than I could have ever fucking dreamed of back then.
Oh, you want to know the funny thing on the flip side of that? Like, I had a film that I was in. It was actually the Ascendance film, the one that I wrote, that I co-wrote. Well, I wrote the book for after the fact. The director, producer, kept getting that into the ITVF, which is it's a Vermont Independent TV and Film Festival. And the first year we went there was like 1 or 2 like web series YouTube channels, right, that were there. The second year I went back, it was like almost everything was basically direct to web as it was. It was like, like the award, like there were YouTubers getting awards for producing what were called independent television shows, and some of them were pretty good. Like Cooking for One was pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, there was some real gems that came out of that. The death of celluloid is what I like to call it. But like you said, it's an oversaturated market, and now YouTube isn't, and other platforms on the internet, they're not even about making like independent films or features. It's all about vlogging, live streaming, podcasts, which is fine. That stuff's very popular. But I'm kind of old school, I guess, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with the building of the bigger sets in the village and trying to do a proper like sitcom type thing, is because maybe there's a part of me that wants YouTube to kind of go back to having some actual just entertainment, movie quality content on it.
I think people will probably start gravitating. I mean, because if there's one thing we've been able to learn over like the last 2 years of just watching what people gravitate towards and away from, the public's appetite, especially because they're bombarded with new options all the time from every direction, it's pretty fickle. Like people grew tired of the drier debate streams, and then they grew tired of the shouting match debate streams, and then they grew tired of the drama. And this shit picks up, and then they move on and find a new interest. And
it's really weird. Like back in 2014 Gamergate, I used to listen to like Mundane Matt almost every day, and now I can't stand that fucking guy.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit. He's a real piece of shit.
By the way, you were a dick on my show the other night.
Yeah, I heard something happened with that. I was asleep, so
awesome. Well, Weibo Jones plays the nameless thief. So every episode she steals the identity of another YouTuber.
Oh.
And this past episode she was Mundane Matt.
I didn't know that Weibo Jones was after my heart.
If she ever like tries to assume my identity, I'd suggest periodic suicide checks.
Right,
because she does not value life anymore.
Oh no, I can't wait until she finally chooses you, so I can crack out the joke, be like, "Oh, you're Wizard of Cause now? Better check that liver."
Oh, I was thinking it was going to be like, it's a good thing we don't have video. No one wants to see that nutsack again.
Right. But no, it's a really cute gimmick because she's a thief, and because she couldn't come up with a name for her character, she was just like, what if I'm just like the nameless thief and you guys don't really know who I am? And I'm like, actually, that's a kind of a brilliant idea. So it was it's pretty funny. But yeah, just I go back to what we were talking about. I mean,
she's gonna get strep throat one day and just start taking clips from other channels. Like, well, tonight I'm going by the content thief instead of nameless.
Right. But no, I mean, it is true that a lot of people like gravitated away from a lot more of the like intellectual but dry talking points kind of webcasts. Because like, dude, when
well, I'm sorry to interrupt, man, but I mean, are you guys either you familiar with the Gross Jan brothers?
No.
They did pretty big, like they were coming up pretty big through like 2012, like 2011, 2012 till about, I think they stopped in 2014, but they produced you might have seen it, Skyrim 2012.
No, I never saw that.
Look, if you get a chance, look them up. They did a whole series where basically, like, what would it be like if Skyrim was in, I'm guessing, some random town in New Jersey in the year 2012. So, like, like when they walk into the convenience store, you get the loading screen, and then it's just the both of them just sort of jumping and falling into place.
Right.
And, they do the pickpocketing gag, all of it, all with the graphics. And as they progressed, because if you go from Skyrim 2012 and then you watch, like, they did a gag on Destiny when it came out. And like, these guys are talented, like, After Effects dudes. They were really good, and they put a lot of effort and a lot of there's a lot of skill involved. And there was a lot of those channels, and then they just kind of seemed to fall by the wayside.
Well, that's because that kind of gimmick is also hard to keep up, because it's also based on pop culture and not their own creation necessarily. They're borrowing a gimmick and making it funny. Don't get me wrong. We had the same thing with like Chad Vader. Remember him? Where he was like just this lowly manager of a grocery store, but he was Darth Vader. But it was still borrowed. You know.
It wasn't. They weren't just doing the games thing. I mean, there was like they had one really weird video where the two of them just wake up one day with superpowers, and they're just like ordinary excited bro dudes about it. Like, check us out, and he just flies straight up in the air and crashes through like a concrete parking structure.
Right.
I know.
What's really funny was in 2009, I actually pitched 9 different web series to Adam.com. They were owned by Spike TV at the time. So I went up to LA, I went to the offices, and it was Comedy Central and Spike TV were in the same office. And and right in like West LA and shit. And so, like, I mean, I'm saying back then, like, yeah, with regards like Chad Vader, they were all trying to find like the next Chad Vader or the next Legend of Neil, if you guys ever saw that one.
Sounds familiar.
Right. Yeah.
Legend of Neil was like some dude was playing Legend of Zelda, got really drunk, tried to kill himself while masturbating, or tried to autoerotic associate himself with the Nintendo controller, and found himself transported into the Legend of Zelda. And so, and like
a Saturday morning cartoon, not exactly like that, but not entirely.
But no, this is a real thing. The Legend of Neil, and it's like he ended up. They had like Felicia Day was in it as the fairy.
Right.
And then, like, in order to replenish his health, he had to fuck the fairy. Like, there's like, graphic scenes of him trying to have sex with the fairy and shit. She's in love with him. He wants nothing to do with her. He wants the princess. And like, they go like they shot in, like, I think it was probably a little northeast of LA out there and whatnot, like out in the woods and shit, and did all that stuff. And it was pretty goddamn funny, but like, it had a small budget. But that was the thing, like back in 2008, 2009, like Dr. Horrible sing-along blog, that just hit 10 years old, and like that was great. I loved it. I thought Dr. Horrible was fantastic.
Now I feel old.
After Nick described that skit, those guys, I just thought of this one video. I don't remember who did it, but I remember seeing this one video a while back ago. I mean, years ago, where these guys go to a doctor, and the doctor can give them any mutant power they want, but it costs like 50,000 a piece. So they were all like, so he's like, so you can do it. Like, they were like, I mortgaged my house, and he's like, I sold my house and shit. And then he was like, well, you can still just choose one instead of 2, and you both can have it done. Which do you want? And they both went Wolverine claws, and it just cuts to them in their house, because they choose to have the Wolverine claws without any healing ability. And there's just blood running down their hands. They got the claws out. They're just like, oh my God, their clothes are all scratched, like tore up and shit. The fucking furniture is thrashed. The one dude accidentally cut his nipple off. I laughed so hard at that. That was a funny ass fucking little parody skit. I can't remember who did it, but that shit was funny.
See, that's the thing. If you could find a way to like spoof current events while still maintaining a consistent narrative, then you're going to have something on your hands that can be, you know, that can keep you going.
That's essentially what my sitcom is going to be.
Yeah, I mean that's good. That's, I mean, at least you're aware of that ahead of time. The problem with a lot of people from like back in the day and even now is like it's just like let's like these one-off things that they're hoping build, you know, that they're hoping
it to go viral.
Yeah, and the thing is, oh my god, I fucking hate that term now. When I used to work, when I used to work in social media, I would go, I went and did this interview for a filmmaker who did a video about going postal, right? Like why postmen go postal. And he, you know, got distribution through this one company, and they brought me in to like do the social media marketing for it. The problem with it is though, is the guy's like, he's like, okay, I wanted this to go viral. And I'm all like, what's your marketing budget? And he goes like, I have no budget. And I'm all like, it won't go viral. And, you know, and they're like, you know, the thing is like people in LA don't ever want you to tell them the absolute truth. They want you to lie. I learned that the hard way. Cost me a job. You know, like, no, okay, here's the thing. There's a movie. I think it's still on Netflix. I think it's still there. It's called Devil's Pass.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You've told this story before.
Yeah, so Devil's Pass. Yeah, it's I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but anyway, it was a movie that came out in 2013 or 20.
It's on Amazon Prime for sure.
Okay, it's not on Netflix. Okay, so they probably moved over there. But anyway, it's a point of view found footage about the Dyatlov Pass incident, like about a group of filmmakers from Oregon University of Oregon that travel out there. And the thing was, I was brought in to do the viral marketing for this film. I was brought in to like plan and execute the whole thing. And so I had pitched it kind of like the original Blair Witch, how they handled their viral marketing, you know. And
that
stuff.
Was that was lightning in a bottle. Nobody could ever replicate that.
100%. I wasn't attempting to try to replicate it. I was trying to like pull from it a little bit and have it just be used as like as a way to like showcase behind the scenes stuff, extra footage that they had shot, that I had actually instructed them to shoot. They took extra time out of their shooting schedule to record these little intros and outros that I recommended. You know, these little informational pieces, talking head moments that we could use to like pimp the movie and shit. And the thing was, they had no fucking budget, right? Like they had no budget. It was a $4 million movie, and they had talked about sending my ass to Russia to go out and like be on set with them to like handle this shit, you know, which would have been so cool if they had the budget. Like if they would have been like, we need to fly you to Russia tomorrow, you know, and like handle all, you know, and direct all the viral marketing stuff. Like that would have been fucking great.
Oh man, now you need to start a new channel called Mundane Gulag.
Yeah, I probably would have gotten left out there. But they shot the movie, and then they set up a screening date for me. They wanted me, like, this was in June 2012. So they got me to come to their office. Like originally I was going to go to Warner Brothers lot. I was going to watch it on the Warner Brothers lot, but that ended up falling through. So they just like brought me into their office and put me in their meeting room, you know, with a TV and shit. And I watched the first cut of the film. Like I sat there by myself in this office on the 14th floor of this building in fucking Sherman Oaks and shit. And I watched the first cut of this movie. And I'd read the script. I liked the script. And I'm like, man, the movie, I'm like, the way they shot it, this point of view found footage, was not shot the way a point of view found footage should have been shot. And then I went and met with one of their content guys afterward, and we had about a 30-minute meeting as a result. And I told him all of my thoughts on the movie, everything I thought that could, you know, was not right with it. The next day they email me and they say, we've decided to go another way.
You're fired.
You're fired. And the thing was, I had all that behind the scenes footage. I still have it. I still have all that behind the scenes footage.
Man.
And they fucking did nothing. You know,
you are right though. Like Hollywood, they kiss each other's ass. Like that's how you get episodes 1, 2, and 3. Like that's just George Lucas surrounded by people that were too scared to tell him no.
Yeah. And then you get people saying episode 7 was too safe, and so they go with episode 8.
and that, I mean, that was a dangerous path to tread. You can tell because it was a disaster.
But good on you for sticking by your scruples. You know,
I get really like my biggest problem is like I'm critical, but like usually I come at it from like I in my mind I'm coming at it from a place of like
you want it to be better.
This is how you are better, and then I sometimes catch myself not realizing that it probably comes across as like super condescending. And I don't mean it to be, I don't intend for it to be, but like there's times where it's happened and it's legitimately cost me friendships. Like when I was living in LA, people I was working with, it just like legitimate, like it was one little thing. For some reason, it just got under my skin and I couldn't let it go. And all it was like the editing of this thing, and the microphone kept skipping in between people because they only had one microphone. So every time they cut, the microphone was in a different hand. And for some reason, it just made me angry to watch this. I don't know why. And then I talked to the editor about it. I kind of just went off on the editor about it, and she got upset. I mean, it would make sense. And I didn't talk to her. Again, I was supposed to throw in her husband and shit. And yeah, I don't know. I think what it was actually is, I think now that I think about it, the woman who was the interviewee was this woman that I met when I moved to LA, and I think I was more mad at her, and I just kind of took it out on the editing, because when I moved to LA, I didn't have any gear, I didn't have any money, I didn't have anything, so I had to rely on like my knowledge and love of the industry in order to try to make a name for myself. So this woman and I, we were working on creating these monthly short film showcases, right? So people would, we found bars that would host us. We'd have everyone to go out there. We'd screen these short films, right, and interact and whatever, this networking thing. Well, we did it for a few months, and then she had just gone through a breakup, and she started really putting a lot of attention on me, right? A lot of like, really like being needy and stuff. And at one point during the one of these events, she actually referred to me, or referred to herself as my second girlfriend, and like made a lot of really kind of weird, inappropriate comments in that regard. And then I met the guy that she had just dumped. Okay. Now, you guys have seen what I look like. So this guy is like the opposite of me, right? Like this dude rolls up to like one of these events. He's on a motorcycle. He's got like like shoulder length wavy hair. He's buff. He did the fucking graphic work for Harry Potter. So he's a graphic artist at Warner Brothers, right? And this is like everything I'm not. And then I meet him, and he's like, "Oh, you're Matt. You're the other boyfriend. Okay, I've heard of you." And I think what it was around that time, I felt like I was getting dicked around. Like I felt like I was being used as this pawn
in LA.
In LA. I know.
No,
but this wasn't even like fucking for like movie related shit. I could kind of
matter, man.
I could kind of get around that. But yeah, all right, it's fine. As long as I can benefit off of this. But really it was like this woman who was at the time 36. She was a grandmother, not even kidding you. And everything else. And she was kind of using me as this pawn to get back at her ex-boyfriend. And I'm going like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. Like, this is not how any of this should work ever. And we ended up
an LA story to me, dude.
No, at the end of the day, it definitely is. Yeah, we just kind of broke off contact after that. And last I heard, she's directing films. She's also super uber feminist, by the way. So we would not have a lot.
Dodged a bullet.
Imagine that kind of shit though on the talent side of the film industry, man. Because I saw that and that wasn't even LA; it was New Orleans, which is a lot more laid back and a lot more forthright and southern. It's not that LA thing, but yeah, even there, it was. Man, yeah, you'd have people just jerking each other around left and right. You'd have people like an agent would put. Now, not my agent, thankfully, but there were some who would they'd put out like two of their people, right? Just try and bait somebody else to come over to their audience, to come over to their stable, so they could put them out for a part. And then they just dump the other two, like, oh yeah, no, listen, that wasn't gonna happen. So, but it's okay. They just use like smaller actors to like try and fish for bigger ones and shit.
Oh, kind of like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, no, I mean, that happened. Fuck,
Yeah.
I mean, shit. My own agent actually, like, he was all super enthusiastic about getting me in front of CDs, and then not casting directors, and then all of a sudden he meets this other cat, tall black dude, long dreads, booming voice, no talent, but he had a look, right? And all of a sudden, like, I wasn't getting any more calls. He's like, "Oh, I set up a lunch date between him and this casting director." I'm like, the fuck? What the fuck? Where's my fucking lunch with the fucking casting director who handled like the B team of Django Unchained? Where's that? God damn.
Yeah, but that's the Hollywood industry. Like, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to just make a fun, interesting show with good graphics, good filmmaking, good script writing that involves the fans and people who want to do the project and not have to deal with all that fucking shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's what a lot of people want to do, and you're in a position where you can actually accomplish it, which is fucking cool.
Yeah, so it's been an amazing 2 weeks, to be honest with you.
Exactly. And the whole thing with it is, though, is that you're going to eventually come into a situation where there is going to be something like this that pops up, but it's not going to be till down the road. And so it's just, as long as you're like prepared to like.
Well, yeah, I am going to have to choose like some actors over other actors because they're just better. That's just the industry. But minimizing this whole like the politics, like I never understood why the movie industry has to spend like $30,000 on a light bulb, you know, and like they get these $400 million budgets for movies, and it's like you look back in like the 70s, like look at like the original Star Wars, right? They had what, a $2 million budget? They just threw money at Lucas, was like, whatever, go make your crappy Flash Gordon, you know, ripoff. They had no idea the passion.
Well, it was 11 million, but I get your point.
Yeah, but you get my point. It's like they didn't even think it would succeed. The people who gave him money. You know, like it, but there was such passion in that project. It almost gave George a heart attack working on a project like this. How much fucking work and time it went into it, and had such a small crew, but everybody was dedicated to that project, and it made a fantastic film.
In fairness, in 79, 11 million would equal 37 and a third million in modern day. I mean, it's still
but that's nothing compared to what they spend on like big budget summer blockbuster films and shit like that. Like, what was it like back when John Carter was made? It was one of Disney's largest like projects, and they didn't make their money back. Like, they put 400 million into it, and they only got 200 million profit.
So you come into the tail end of one of those like trends, though. They were trying to get in on the young adult thing,
right?
But one thing I'm curious to see how it evolves, though, with projects like yours and the other, those projects out there where people want to just produce a show. They want to produce, they want to produce a real show. Is because so you don't have like, you've got all these options through things like, in terms of effects, like After Effects and the editing software and the technology to get it done. Right. But you don't have that, that studio full of like 10 undoomed sitting around like mastering an entire world. So you've got some real filmmaking, like, from like the times when some might say the movies were good. You're almost facing the same limitations they did with their budgets, given what can be done now. But you don't run any real risk of falling into the trappings of like a Michael Bay, where it's all just like incomprehensible CG mixed with explosions.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm not trying to like bring back the good old days. Like some things do belong in the past. I am using modern technology, but I really feel like there is something that there is now that technology has caught up with people's abilities to make their film dreams come true. Why aren't more people trying it? And it's because there's this other side thing that gets them instant gratification and instant money, and that's like YouTube.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. I think what it is, though, is people run into the eventual problem of saying like, I really want to do like this like very thought-provoking film, and then like, but I can vlog from my toilet and make a lot more goddamn money.
Right. Yeah. Get like super chat money and be done with my day.
Yeah. It's just like,
There's also the risk. I mean, I know they're still doing fine, but you mentioned Channel Awesome earlier, right? Like they stumbled real hard when they tried to like make that hard pivot to, you know, focusing more on like films and the like. And there was a lot involved in that. But I think it might not just be the notion that you can do the lazy thing, but I think it might also be the understanding that like you can run a real risk because you've only got so much time and attention you can dedicate to a thing. And if you want to make a quality product, it requires all of your attention. And so if you've got an established audience that you're vlogging to, right, for you to either take the time away from what they want or for you to make a pivot and try and bring them along, you're running a real serious risk of losing what you've built. Even if it's something as humble and irrelevant as a YouTube channel.
Well, that's what I was getting at, though. I'm trying to blend the two. See, it used to be so separate. See, how I originally came up with this idea of doing the sitcom was I still like to do Magog videos. And when the new indoor set is built, like Magog's Magic Emporium, I still plan on doing regular Magog videos so that I don't lose my audience because I disappear for 3 months on end to do a massive film project, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, what bothered me about the film industry was watching the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings. Pissed me off. They spent millions of dollars to build like the actual Shire. And like, what was the second one? Rohan, you know, like that whole town, they built that in New Zealand, like a whole like medieval fucking castle on a hill. Like they physically built that because Peter Jackson rightly wanted to use as many practical effects as possible as well. And after they were done filming, they were just like, okay, let's back up and go home. And they left it all to rot. And it's like, wait a minute, you spent millions of dollars building a medieval village? Fucking in between the movies, shoot a goddamn film series on it or something. Don't let it go to waste. So I had this brilliant idea. Why not build a permanent set that you can do a constant thing on, but also other projects that link to it? You know? Why hasn't anybody thought of that? I hate like Hollywood builds something for millions of
hang
dollars
on.
Throw it away.
Trailer Park Boys is like that. Like that trailer park is not a real trailer park. Like they built that entire place for the show.
Right. Yeah.
Which, when you think, it's kind of surprising because I'm sure like their initial concept or the pilot was probably shot in a legit trailer park, but
yeah, but with Trailer Park Boys, that's also not exactly hard to do. I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of money building a trailer park.
No, that's why there's so many of them. No one's shooting movies there.
Yeah, but those, like Garrick in the chat says, basically film backlots that they use over and over again, and like the same city street will be used for multiple movies. But you know, they and the production companies, they keep those up because they're used for multiple movies. They build an entire little Main Street America because they know there's going to be 1,000 movies that'll probably need a scene like that, right?
Swap out the store sign.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of repaint some of the facades and swap out the store signs, but essentially it's the same damn fake street, right? Well, you know, there's that, but like on a lower budget, what if I do my Magog show, my big main Magog show that has like multiple characters and actors and everything? But in between editing those to be released, I'm still doing Magog's regular videos. I'm still doing some behind the scenes stuff. I'm having fans and patrons come out and party with me on the fucking set. It's also a multi-purpose thing.
Well, if it's good enough too, you could even consider leasing it to like indie film crews and shit if they ever wanted something like that.
Yeah, or LARP events, Renaissance fairs, whatever, you know.
Did I ever tell you about the set from Amy in a Cage?
No.
That was really interesting. It was a film I did like years back. It had like Crispin Glover in it. It was actually the first film.
I don't know if you really want to brag about Crispin Glover.
He's a weird motherfucker. Oh my god, fucking strange. No, it was the first film actually financed with from Bitcoin earnings, no less, too.
Interesting.
But, yeah, it's I watched it. It's probably one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. It's barely. I don't even know. I'm gonna wait for Adam to watch it finally, and then I'll take my opinion there. But no, it was interesting because so I got in because I was friends with the set designer and the set builder, and they're like a pretty much effectively married couple. She's a really talented photographer and designer, and he's a brilliant carpenter. So I helped them. Like we went around to thrift stores and weird consignment shops. She put the strangest apartment together, and then Brandon built an entire house, like the first floor of a house, basically, in what was this disused, well, rented out warehouse, former factory space in Boston.
Right.
So they built the whole set, and it was impressive to see, and came through really well in the film. And when they were done, when they broke it down, Brandon and Chloe took the parts and built a tiny house, like one of those. It's a really cool one. If you look up Chloe Barshalow tiny house, it's got like this nautical theme, and it extends out like an RV does, but it's all hand built, hand done. And now they actually travel around in that thing doing set design and construction as like a mobile film consulting couple.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the repurposing the shit when, like, because what was it? The original set of, was it Cantina? I think it was just left to rot, and like people go out and like homages and like go and explore the ruins of a Star Wars set.
Yeah. Now, luckily, like when it comes to Lord of the Rings, they did. New Zealand bought the sets and they keep them up as like a tourist attraction, so you can go and visit the Shire, you know. But outside of that, I mean, there's so much potential in the use of a single outdoor and indoor set if it's fully functional. And that was the idea, was to just like, you know, I don't want to do just response videos for the next 5 years and then just die on YouTube, you know. Some people can make that successful. Sargon's still going. Plenty of other people are still going, just doing that bearing. But I've always wanted to kind of take this in a much bigger direction. But I'm also getting a lot of like ambivalence. I talked about that on Drunken Peasants tonight. It was like some people are like, fuck yeah, and they supported me. They rallied behind me. My fans are great. But every now and again, I'll get a comment from somebody like, I don't want you to change. If you change, I'll unsubscribe. And I'm like, and what is wrong with people? Like, it's
exactly. No, that's the thing. Is like, you know, changing up stuff is gonna, you know, get you in trouble. Like I you know, there's a guy that's just funny too. This guy was talking about this whole back to this whole James Gunn thing. At first he was like, you know, the tweets are you know, indefensible, and he goes off, gets people riled up about it, you know. And then one of his friends defends James Gunn, and everyone kind of turns to him and it's like, but she defended James Gunn, but you know, are you going to unfriend her? And he's like, no, I'm not going to unfriend her. Like, she can have her opinion. That's fine. And then he does a live stream where it's all like, I forgive James Gunn. And I'm all like, forgive him for what? Like,
I'm sure
offending your sensibilities, like, you know. But then so the audience is like, unsubscribing, right? Like he's like, I'm down 35 subscribers, and I'm all like, that's nothing, you know. Like, I one time, this is seriously too, in 2015 in like August, so about 3 years ago, I did a video about how and why I like Adam Sandler movies, right? And
friends real quick, yeah,
that lost me 300 subscribers in a day.
Yeah, I'll never forgive you for that one.
And so no, it's just, I mean, these things happen.
Like, yeah, I have learned this year and a half that the YouTube audience, you always will gain like a hardcore base. Like, if you're really good, right, you'll have those 100 or 200 maybe people that are just like, oh, I want to see everything you do. But then outside of that, it's a real fickle audience.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys want to talk about losing subscribers, huh?
Well,
no,
yeah,
it's been funny. I noticed.
I could literally hear your eyes rolling when
I noticed. Well, I noticed an interesting thing aside from that, though, is that, and it got me thinking too, because I remember back in Gamergate when I got pretty much started making videos, and one of the things that I noted was that I found it interesting that people of different political persuasions and philosophies were, you know, making alliances with each other, being, you know, becoming friends with each other, where I hadn't seen that in the political world previously. But I did speculate, I'm like, I think we're going to see some weird new factioning going on. And so, like, the anti-SJW audience that I built up, right? Like, I've cultivated that hardcore, like, and we've talked about this before. And And then there was this, and then there was this like anti-SJW Sargon wave, and Undoomed and all that. There was the community, the skeptics, the anti-SJWs, whatever. Well, once that was like a dead meme, effectively, like there was nothing left to be said, at least for my part. And I moved on to different things. And now, like, when I notice I criticize Trump, or I criticize Paul Joseph Watson, or I criticize Cernovich, and people who've been around for forever, right, are like, fuck this channel, I'm done, blah, blah. I noticed on Twitter, like, for some reason, after the purge they did, I was gaining followers on Twitter, which is kind of strange because everybody else was apparently losing them. But I was gaining, like, followers, and then I noticed, like, I came out with some Trump, critical tweets against Trump, and I noticed within like a period of an hour, like there was like 30 followers that were gone. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe some of that was Twitter doing a purge or whatever they do. But I'm like, but it's interesting how fickle it really is, because, people will gravitate towards something based around a singular idea. And then over time, they'll build up this impression that everything's going to be on the same page because of sides and tribes. And then as soon as something disrupts that perception on their part, it all just turns to shit. And it's like, all of a sudden, like, fuck you, I fucking hate you. Like, whoa.
Oh yeah, no, that happens, man, all the fucking time.
But what I'm talking about isn't even that. Like, okay, because of everything that was going on with my family, my Uncle Kent dying, my parents having to go out of town for his memorial, so I had to house sit, take care of the dogs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I haven't done a proper Magog video in 2 weeks. So all I've been able to do is side quest, and somewhere in there I did a episode of Midnight Dreary. By the time I was working on my video that I released Sunday about the pink tax, I noticed a couple comments started popping up in my side quest, my last side quest episode, of people going, oh, so you're just going to do live streams because it makes you more money, and fuck the fan base that built you up and do the original content that you did, stuff like that. And I was like, well, you guys are about to be surprised because I'm working on a video right now. And I released the video, and those same people went over to the new video. And because at the very beginning of my video, I was like, hey, I'm going to start doing exclusive BitChute content, because they actually have like a not safe for work, not safe for life tag. And I can finally do some stuff like movie reviews and not have to censor myself and stuff. And so it was just a short little announcement before the actual video started. And those same people that left the comment going, oh, yeah, you're just doing live streams now because it makes you more money, and fuck the original content that built your base. I remembered their names because it happened right before I released my video. I saw the comment come up in my new video where they're like, oh, look at you being a fucking politician trying to get us to subscribe and shit. I'm like, you just can't please everybody. Like, that was an eye-opening experience for me. It's like they got what they were bitching about. They got, a new Magog video. And then they bitched about the Magog video anyway.
Well, when you were doing just like your old school standards, and that was sort of like the flagship, as it was, styling of what you're doing. What was it like? How frequently was your output then? I can't rightly recall.
Like for the past year and a half, outside of like taking breaks for finals back when I was in school, I was pretty steady at one Magog video a week, one Poe video a week. Okay. And that was it. Then I started doing live streams like SideQuest on Mondays, but I was still doing the Poe and Magog once a week as well.
I think it's it's something I was thinking about. Like, I was thinking about what channels do I enjoy, right? Like, what channels, like, in my sub feed, because I'm pretty much over the anti-SJW commentary thing. It's like, it's nothing against it. It's just one of those things. I've watched so much of it that now I'm like, hey, I can't wait for the next Commenticate video. I can't wait until, for the next half in the bag. And but I'll look at like the frequency and output of those channels. Like Eric is, I forget, I think he's over 500,000 now. And he's like, he does podcasts and videos with H3H3 and iDubbbz. But I look at those guys, and with the exception of PewDiePie, I'd say, and DeFranco, their output sometimes it's like once a month, right?
Yeah, that's Chris Reagan's schedule. He does like one, maybe two a month.
And it's, well, I think it's about the setting of expectations in that sense, because so like if you've got an audience that's used to, these crafted, honed pieces that come out periodically, like once or twice a month, as opposed to like something that's every week or every day, like a lot of other creators can do. When that gets interrupted, disrupted, or changed, like, so if let's say Chris started doing weekly videos, right? Even if they were up to snuff, like once the audience adjusted to that, I don't know if I think it will be difficult to go back after that because they've adjusted to it. So if they're not getting their regular feed, then they just sort of walk away, or they lose interest, or sometimes in some cases, as you've seen, they're like, well, you go fuck yourself with fucking remote sideways. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not talking about my actual like hardcore audience.
Yeah, no, the general audiences.
Yeah. Echo. Nick, you're echo.
Yeah.
I can hear myself.
Like, I got headphones in, so I know it's on. I know it's Nick.
Yeah, I'll turn my gain down.
Well, what I've learned when it comes to that is like, so I've been doing 3 videos a day for like a long fucking time, right? And I would love to just do like one and like have it still pull in like the same amount of views. It's just not happening, right? I've tried it multiple times, like for weeks. It just doesn't fucking happen. So it's like either I need to either produce more content, which is weird because it's a tactic too, or less content. So I mean, I watch like I'll check out other news channels that kind of do what I do, and oftentimes it's like, I was checking out like Sam Cedar, Minority Report and whatnot, or Majority Report, and like he'll do a 2-hour show and then clip out 5 segments of that, right? And then like the Young Turks will do a 2-hour show and they'll clip out like 5 segments. Kyle Kalinske does the same thing.
That's how real time works, actually.
Yeah. And it's like real time will do like they'll start clipping out.
If you go to HBO, actually, if you go to HBO, like if you want to watch the full episode, it's only after this long string of like 11-minute segments that they chop the show up into for each segment. And that's what they're pushing, is so that you watch more content on their page.
It will know exactly. The problem with it is though, is like subscriber attrition, right? So it's like, how many videos a day, how frequently do you upload, shit like that. So it's like, I've toyed with the idea of doing like a longer show and like putting out, like 5 shorter videos a day, not like, not over 10 minutes, but like shorter ones and stuff. Cause you never really know what things are going to play out as. And to be honest with you, 3 seems to be pretty good, but even then, you're fighting up against like the view counts. Like Chris Ray Gun will put out one video and he'll get like 230,000 views in a month, right? Or on that video. But like, he'll make comments saying like, he's like, he doesn't make money off of YouTube anymore. Like, I think most of his money right now is either Patreon. I don't know if he has had a Patreon, but I know
Patreon or merchandise
for one, but he also goes over and does these like hangouts on Twitch, I think like once a week or something, and he'll earn a little bit there too. So it's kind of like, I mean, like I'm not gonna lie, I would love it if I could get to a point of where it's like I could do a live stream and just do a hangout for a while and then have that pull in, what would be making up for AdSense. Right. And that's why there was someone that suggested that YouTube do what Twitch does when it comes to that, which is, not force, but give the viewer an opportunity to view an ad and then earn a little bit of income off of viewing that ad, or like the points, and then they could then distribute those points to the person,
right,
to the content creator, like that, just as a little bit something extra. And I think that's kind of where it's going to go.
But that's why I just decided to do some math. After the adpocalypse, and I started building an audience, but I wasn't making any money off ads or anything. I started to do kind of some math, and I was like, do I need 5 million subscribers? No. Do I even need like 100,000? No. Because if you had a dedicated core audience of, let's say, 30,000 people, like I'm talking 30,000 dedicated watchers, that were able to... Right. That we're able to actually like follow you to a website you've created to do your bigger show. And it's got a much higher production, like what I'm doing, right? When the big show comes out, it's not going to just be a website for that show. It's going to have the behind the scenes. It's going to have interviews with the actors. It's going to have live hangouts that people can come in and enjoy. And they also get the series, right? Every year they get the series, right? And it's like a binge watching Netflix type thing. Like I'll edit them all 30 episodes and then drop them all at once, And then, but to have access to the website, I'll charge like $1, right, or something, right? I'd much rather have 30,000 people giving me $1 than 1,000,000 subscribers barely watching me. Because then I can continue to fund my projects, and over the years, just continue to have a bigger budget and a bigger budget off of $1.
That's kind of like, that's a good idea. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
No, well, I was wondering if you're going to say the same thing. It's a bit like, why am I fucking Dick Masterson? Like, that's a similar sort of formula that he operates on. Yeah, I know. Like, honestly, like, I'm one person here who knows next to nothing about the dude, and the more I hear people chuckle, I'm glad of that. But I do know that part of his model, though, is that so you can listen to the podcast for free. If you want to watch it, you pay like $1 or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good model. It's definitely a good model. Or if you
a lot of people,
it's inventive.
You know, look at Joe Rogan and like Louder Crowder and a bunch of others. Like, basically, what they do is they use YouTube to push people over to their websites.
Yeah.
So like Louder Crowder, he'll still do his one free episode a week like he always has done. But if you want the daily content, you go and join Mug Club for, what is it, $99 a year, unless you're a veteran, student, or firefighter or whatever. And then you can get the daily content over on CRTV. And so he's using YouTube to traffic over to a website that he can do what he wants to do on, and they can't flag him, they can't take him down, they can't censor him. And that's what I'm interested in. I'm just using Crowder as an example. I don't want anybody, be like, oh, he's trying to be like Crowder and charge people $60 a year. No, I'm not. I'm seriously not going to charge any more than like $2 to join my website, $2 a month. And to me, that could replace Patreon too. So I can finally give some of these people that are giving me a lot of money a break. They can just join everybody else and just give me $2 a month and get the really big, nice show that's uncensored and unfettered, and I ain't got to worry about copyright strikes and flags and all kind of, oh, you had some semi side boob nudity flag, like, fuck that. I'm really tired of YouTube trying to tell me what my art is,
It's well, I mean, it's I gotta, I kind of wonder.
1:20 in the morning and someone's shooting off guns.
Yeah. You West Coasters, man. You should be used to it like we are. If they ain't shooting at you, who gives a fuck? But it's, I mean, like,
that's a motherfucker trying to get rid of the cats making noise in the garbage can. Right there. That's what that is in the middle of the night. That's a motherfucker can't sleep and the raccoons are added in the garbage can. That's it. Blam, blam, blam.
Around here, it's probably because a bag was light, but different strokes for different folks. But no, I mean, it's funny because, like, so we're sitting here, though, we're talking about, and it's like any other sort of industry talk. It's, it's production of shows, production of content. It's how, like how the industry works. And it's funny because underneath it all, though, there's this one variable. And Matt, I know you study the living shit out of it, but it just seems to change like the fucking wind. And that's YouTube itself. It sometimes feels to me like they're in a constant like panic mode. Like they understand they've got the biggest platform on the internet for this kind of shit, and they can shore it up. But like now, there's rumors that they're like willing to cut checks to bigger the content creators to keep them on the platform. That's a rumor. But then there's also, I mean, like the way the algorithm's been functioning and the way like channels get demonetized, others get purged. It's weird because I see a lot of the channels that are still growing, right? They're not encountering any like purge issues or shadow ban issues. They're getting demonetized like crazy for nothing at all.
I noticed a comment earlier from Definitely Not Dan. He was like, I don't have to unsubscribe from anybody. YouTube does it for me.
Oh yeah, I was doing when I was streaming tonight. Chris Dangerfield shows up in my chat and he's like, "What the fuck? I'm unsubscribed from you." I was like, "Yeah, that seems to be the case." I'm like, "The trade-off is I never get demonetized, which confuses the shit out of me because I see content that is way. I mean, I'm not saying my shit's wild or shitposty even, but I see shit that's way tamer than what I do getting mass demonetized. If any one of my videos gets demonetized, I put in, because I get a minimum of at least 1,000 views on most videos. I'll put in the request, and usually within 24 hours, I'll get a reversal. Just every time, every single video. Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, so what do you guys have standards here? None of this makes sense, and it's this. this variable amidst it all. Like it's just like, yeah, they can do this with production, you can do that with production, you can cultivate your audience, you can bring them here, you can bring them there. But then under it all, there's just this like constantly moving ground that doesn't make any sense.
Well, you know, that brings up something with YouTube acting the way they are. Like, I can't wait till, like, there's still hope deep down in my heart that YouTube's going to fix itself and the advertisers are going to come back and it'll be like the old days. But it is a flicker of a hope. It is a slightly a light ember, okay, in my black heart. So, but you know, to counter that, I actually really love what BitChute's doing over there. So I want to ask you guys, why haven't you guys decided to try to make the move? You know, I'm not talking permanently. Like, I'm not getting rid of my YouTube channel. I love YouTube. But if you start offering actual, like, exclusive BitChute content, and let's say you want to do something a little more raunchy or something like that, that won't be allowed on YouTube for sure, 100%. Like, even using a movie clip will get you flagged on YouTube these days. You can't even do a proper movie review, right? What if you go to BitChute and do it because you have the not safe for work, not safe for life tags? They actually follow the law. So as long as the work is transformative enough, i.e. you're talking over it or whatever have you, they allow it. They're doing a really great job upholding the whole free speech standards. They just hit 300,000 unique users. Pretty much a lot of the big guys on YouTube have kind of made the move. Now, right now, sometimes on BitChute, it does feel like a little bit more of a kind of like Gab, where a lot of people just with the extreme conservative point of view made the move over to BitChute. But I think that'll change. I really like what they're doing over there. They got the bronze trophy. When you hit 10,000 subs, you get the fucking BitChute play button. You can even mine cryptocurrency through it.
I'm climbing up. I've been there. That's the thing. Like, I've been there, and I do like it. In fact, I also like too because you can set it up, and I'm guessing it's hosting though. So it like auto populates, auto hosts all of my YouTube videos right here.
It doesn't back populate. Like, if you talk to Ray, he'll move like your past 15 videos, but he won't go past that.
Oh no, I know, but I mean, I've got it set so when I upload a video to YouTube, it automatically. Once you actually create a channel on BitChute, if you talk to Ray, he'll move some of your content over there, like your last 15 videos. I mean, I've never gotten a chance to, like, I mean, I'd never communicated with him. I've tweeted at him a few times, but I've never gotten a response. But actually, if you could put me in touch with him, because I am curious to know if these are just being hosted here from YouTube, or if they're being pulled from YouTube.
No, according to him, they are being pulled. It's an interesting algorithm that actually copies your description and all that stuff. But if you take a video down on YouTube, it doesn't disappear from BitChute. So it's a direct copy.
Well, fuck me. I like that a lot though, because I'm still working, like, I'm still poor, so I'm working on limited hard drive space. It's like every third or fourth video, I just need to delete all of its assets and the entire thing and hope it just stays up.
I really feel BitChute is a better backup system than VidMe ever was.
Oh yeah. Well, VidMe was like a nice try champ kind of thing.
Right. But they just couldn't hit the mark. And now BitChute has implemented monetization, not through ads, but there's a little tip jar button. So if you turn that on your channel, people can give you a tip, you know, and it's all through PayPal. They don't do none of that Stripe bullshit.
Talking to you here.
PayPal's gonna, as soon as something bad happens on BitChute, watch PayPal go away.
I have no idea. I mean, we can't predict the future, but I have more hopes for BitChute right now than any other.
What's going on with Maker? It's Maker
Support. Maker Support. As far as I know, they're still in the throes of their lawsuit, whatever it is, and you can't fucking delete your account. So, like, I'm stuck with, like,
it's like the MySpace of the Patreon world.
Oh, it's bad, man. They fucked everybody, dude. Like, I don't like them. I want them to delete my fucking account. I'll pay whatever they say I owe if it just gets me out from under them.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you end up owing the money?
I have no idea, but my account says I have like negative $65, meaning I owe $65. I have no idea why, but
I got a whole taint they can make out with if they think that's happening.
But they're not even talking to people. Like, I don't even know the last time they they posted anything like on Twitter or anything. Like they haven't done any messages or anything to their people updating them. Then again, I haven't checked in a while. Let me go over there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just looked, so thankfully I'm at a 0 balance, so I don't owe them money somehow.
Hey, yeah, I'm starting to like fall asleep pretty hard. So I'm gonna wrap this thing up. It's good times. I'm just kind of like I'm like, whoa, fuck, man.
Yeah, I understand, man.
Like,
good, dude.
Yeah,
it's 4:30.
Well, I got up this morning. I did Pimp Monk's live stream, and then I did my videos, and then baby stuff, and then I was going to stream earlier, and then Animancer's like, "Hey, you want to come on Drunken Peasants for like 40 minutes?" Like, yeah, all right. Like 2 hours later, I'm like, fuck.
I tried to make it, but I ended up getting sidetracked with my own stream.
That can happen. I mean, well, I helped him. I helped him out at the end and got him over the line, and you know, we had a good time and shit. But no, this is fun. Good conversations and stuff. My brain started just shutting the hell down. So, but yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll definitely talk again soon. And peace out, everyone.